But all right, yeah, we'll see who trickles in here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a few people.
Oh, great! Now my wife.
If you're watching and want to join, be sure to send us a tweet.
Yep.
Or to tweet Pete.
Tweet Pete. You went there, didn't you?
I did. So what have you been up to this week? Or last 2 weeks, I guess?
I've been finishing off these, what I call the magic gloves. See, my dad had a spinal cord surgery about 4 years ago, and has been in rehab on again, off again since then, and doesn't exactly have the best of mobility in his hands right now. But there's this thing glove that is conductive glove that just sits on the fingertips. The fingertips themselves are conductive, and it's got a Bluetooth interface. I see Sean's joining us now. Cheers.
Oh. Hey, there's Pete.
Sean, meet John. John, meet Sean.
Hi, John.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good.
And I guess you're in Serenity there, Sean?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. This was a poster a guy put up a while ago. We never cleared it out of this room, but you know what?
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't know if you were in the Serenity conference room over there.
No, it's kind of funny because there is a Serenity conference room, but that's more of a meditation / breastfeeding room. Hence Serenity, because they're all named after starships. But somebody literally put Serenity in this other. This is the unnamed Marcom room. That's kind of like the quiet area to take phone calls. Basically.
Yeah. So I was actually just about to show John the thing that, which is the magic. It's a response to the fact that my dad had spinal cord surgery about 4 years ago, has a need for rehab on his hands, and there's this really cool thing that was made by this company called, and that's essentially finger-tipped glove that interacts with a tablet, playing a game that's very much like Guitar Hero, really, or Rock Band. So what I did was I took one of SparkFun's Simon Says boards.
Right.
Made this glove as a conjand now. Let's see here.
My video is chopping up. Are you touching it to your thumb? Is the thumb completing the circuit?
Yeah, the thumb is... Oh, dang it. The thumb is ground, and then all four of these are the high side.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Charles.
So you're not touching it to a table. It's not pressure. You're just completing the circuit here.
Correct. And that's actually what you need for rehab, is you need to be able to just handle touch alone. So...
Right.
Oops. I keep screwing up because of the fact that I'm holding it so you guys can see it.
Right. That's good.
Having a little bit of trouble. So I have both gloves, both left and right, and as my old piano teacher could probably tell you very easily, she could definitely see why I'd be better with the right hand than the left hand. I'm usually a melody pianist rather than bass. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, is finishing that off. I'll be shipping that out to my dad today, and his therapists over there at the Helen Hayes Hospital are really looking forward to playing with him with this. So we'll see how it goes.
Are you writing a tutorial on that one, just anywhere?
I'm hoping to, and if you guys want me to do it for SparkFun, I can do that. Chances are I'll do it just like I did the Ray Catcher, where I do the tutorial in Markdown and post it up to GitHub.
Right, and then that's easy
then for you guys to. Yeah, because Joel was telling me when I was out there that it's really simple to go from standard Markdown directly into your tutorial structure.
Yeah, because most of our stuff is pretty much all Markdown. There's a couple of like weird script things, but I don't think you're going to be using it for that anyway.
Yep. So that John had asked what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks, and that's it.
Nice.
That, and also we've got this weird magnetic in and out board just to show who's in the office now. I recently moved offices. I'm back in my old office just for the purposes of not annoying everybody in the new office with yammering at you guys. But so just today I decided to take a little bit of time, take one of, once again, another SparkFun product, take one of your sound detector boards and put a 3-volt coin cell on the back of it, and then an old VU meter, Philston one that's about this big around, on there, on the envelope pin, and now when you get close enough to the magnet and talk to it, the VU meter jumps up to one side. So it's the only interactive magnet on the entire board.
Oh, that's hilarious. I think we're going to release this week. There's a Easy VR board that's a shield that plugs into an Arduino and gives you like basic voice recognition.
Oh, sweet.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that would be a cool one too if you want to like talk to it and have it like move across for you. Same idea, but you could like actually like train it to your voice.
Put little tracks on the underside and run it off of. Well, let's see. The problem is you're saying that it's a shield. If it was a shield for a Pro Micro, then maybe it would work for me, but the size that I've got to work with is about 2 inches by 2 inches.
Yeah, so like Pro.
I only barely fit the VU meter in there.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
Yep. I'll have to show it to you guys next time we do one of these. What was that, John?
I said you just need a bigger magnet. You can bulldoze everybody out of the way when your magnet moves.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
When Pete leaves, it just scrapes everyone else over.
So voice recognition. So are you taking part in putting together the Friday video for that, or is that done already?
I know Sarah was working on that one. She had it on her desk, and it's except for the built-in voice patterns of voice commands that it has, you can use a program to train it, but it's really iffy. And she was the one playing with that.
Okay. So it's not quite Siri replacement yet.
Oh god, no, it's nowhere near that.
Have you guys played with...
Yes, I was just going to introduce you, Charles.
Oh, okay.
Charles Sean Heimel, John Lehman.
Hi, Charles.
Hi, Charles.
Actually, it's funny. I do a bunch of voice recognition. We're using it for the lab purposes.
Right.
Pretty good. There's a free tool that we use that's really neat called oh my god, why can't I think of it now? Wit.ai. WIT.ai. It is awesome. It is amazing. Just really amazing. It basically does a bunch of machine learning in the background. So you will learn off of sentences. You can do basic flat ontologies so that you know and what types of words are recognized at what type of data structure that you want to extract. And it will just train it a little bit over like 10, 15 sentences and let's say 10 or so tests. Voice tests, and it's just extremely robust. We've trained it over 10 or 15 sentences, and now gets like 9.9% accuracy.
Wow,
it's really impressive. Also,
does it only work on cell phones? Is it just an app, or is there code for like an API for other languages?
There's APIs for everything you can think of.
That's awesome.
They have an Android example, an iOS example. just a normal JavaScript example, Python. I don't remember the other. I mean, it's impressive. It's really impressive. It's a ton of stuff.
Sweet. So the
Yeah.
question
I'd
is,
love
when
to
are
do
you
this
going to
thing.
start making mobile machines that are all voice activated?
What bio machines?
Molecular biology. Sorry.
Well, we're not far.
That's what.
The reason I was
Cool.
late is talking to a major equipment manufacturer. So, yep, this is the direction we're going.
Cool.
There's literally a button here that says, "For robots."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this looks really cool.
Yeah, getting started. Yeah, I really want to play around with this. This looks like fun. Because my thought is to put it on like a Pi or an Edison and have that be a link to like something physical. I really want it to I really want to hack our elevator so you can just be like, elevator, go up, and you don't have to touch anything.
Or even better, you do that for, let's say, a month, and then you take it away.
Train people just enough to do it, and then you just mess with them. So people are like yelling at the elevator.
You gotta do that through March and then take it away on April 1st.
Or just switch the table of what command does what every week.
Oh, there you go. Well, actually, Sean, is it just me, or does the elevator come up pretty close to that area in front of Nate's office out there?
Yeah, it's pretty close to that.
Well, then 10 forward should be one of the commands, right?
Say what?
I think when we last spoke, or was it when I spoke with Pierce, somebody was telling me that you guys were trying to get the area in front of Nate's office designated as 10 forward out there at SparkFun.
I don't remember. That must have been with Pierce, yeah.
Well, either way, he was saying that somebody was pushing for that, so there you go. If it comes up close to there.
No.
Yeah, I know. Geeky Star Trek refer into a turbo lift, that's what it's all about, right?
Oh, true. I know Pete Doctor would love that. Oh, we should just call it the bridge. Like, you have to say Star Trek commands. The turbolift bridge. And, like, that's the upper floor.
And the biggest problem, though, is that the lower floor is production, and so you can't just say engineering.
Oh, that would be engineering. But engineering's upstairs. You're right.
Well, there you go. Engineering is the upstairs. And then bridge would be command and control for manufacturing, which means it would be downstairs.
And that would confuse
and we'd
everyone.
all very confused. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a really good system. I recommend you look at it. I don't know how much longer it's going to be. There have been rumors that Facebook is trying to acquire them.
Wow.
Yeah. That would suck if they did, because then they're going to close all the source.
Yeah.
So it is actually not open source in the back end. And you do need to make
fair enough. So it's just. Yeah.
You can't run this on your own servers, unfortunately.
I see.
Yeah.
So it just communicates with their backend. So it would work. So like, if I had a Raspberry Pi, I could run this on a Pi and just like plug in a USB microphone, and we're good to go.
As long as your Pi has Wi-Fi or Ethernet, yep.
Yeah. Well, okay, true. So it has to make server calls.
That's
and
the only
same
problem.
thing with cheap Android cell phones, then.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Pip install wit. Yep. Import wit. Holy crap! Like 4 lines of code for this to work in Python. This is amazing. I'm gonna have to try this on the Edison.
No. It runs it at my place. It runs the lights. So.
What? That's great.
So I have. It's really weird. So I have an Echo, Amazon Echo. So there's a way to hook into the to-do list of the Amazon Echo. You go, turn off the lights in the living room. But now it's actually all dynamically generated. So it recognizes that living room is a room in the house. So I can actually procedurally code this, and it's kind of clean. You can just write code separately.
Wow.
You don't have to hard code commands in it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just by like, so how does that work with Wit? Like, you're just yelling commands at it and it's reprogramming them?
So Echo. So the Echo will write something on a to-do list, and I have a Python script running in a loop on my server at home that just pulls the to-do list when there's something new. It grabs the text from that, sends it to Wit, and gets the intent back from Wit, and then does the appropriate action.
Cool.
Wow.
Nice.
It's both convoluted and also really awesome.
Yeah, well, you have to kind of hack the Echo anyway, because like I can totally understand that it's like it can write stuff to list, but not much else. So you have to parse that list on a regular basis to see what's going on. Do you find the Echo is a better? Do you find using the Echo in that solution is better than like trying to make your own microphone using Wit by itself?
No. So the nice thing is that the Echo has a wake word. Also, it is a device that I have at home, so it was there. And to be honest, it's actually a really nice piece of hardware. It's got a really nice speaker and really nice microphones.
I've seen a teardown.
Yeah, on Hackaday had a teardown of it. It's pretty good. It's really, I think it's quite nice. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. So eventually, I would love to replace that with a Pi. I guess I did the lowest order magnitude. It's eventually going to start replacing the components here and there for it to be more robust or not. But the key is really kind of how do you do the input. So the big problem in voice recognition is that wake words have to have trained models behind them. And as you were just saying, I don't remember the name of the training. It's like that's with T, I think. The voice training models are kind of really iffy and difficult to do.
Yeah.
Right now, there are no really good tools to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good. It's difficult to make your own wake word kind of auto detection, so that's something that listens automatically. And then what you could do is you could do intensity, right? You could just look at the envelope and look at intensity and do something like that. But it's difficult to do specific intent words.
Well, actually, it's interesting that you bring that up because that's have discussed quite a lot over here in bioacoustics. Because one of the issues that we always run into is that we have limited memory and we've got limited power, which means that our sampling frequency should be as low as we can possibly get it. But the problem is that that also deletes a lot of information. So one of the things we've been working on is this thing we're calling frequency agile sampling, where we have a detector and essentially a memory loop. And so the detector will tell the system that's running the ADC, okay, go to the higher sampling frequency, but only when this particular signal is received. And usually it's we've been looking at it as being mainly a bandpass filter with a comparator after it. So we actually are looking for a particular tone. We can also do it procedurally in DSP, but that still means that we have to be at least sampling at that higher frequency, even if we're decimating before we're storing.
Right.
And so it's easier from a low power perspective to actually do this in hardware, in the analog side. And so we actually have looked at doing multi-gate flip-flops with delays after them, and essentially doing analog signal processing on the front end so that we can then shift the FS when we need to, and then do all digital stuff on the back end to bring this all back into one file that's at the same sampling rate. So there's either the possibility of doing interpolation one way, calling out the middle of the file when you actually have that separate signal entirely separate on its own as another file, and just having two at a different sampling frequency on either side of it, or decimating everything together. So one of those actually gets you the separate qualities that you need otherwise. And actually, John, I've been wondering if you guys would be interested in doing something similar for seismic work, because when you're dealing with seismometry, I'm guessing that you're probably dealing with the same issue that we have, where you need to sample fast, but only some of the time, and you need to sample slow the rest of the time.
Actually, we want to sample fast most of the time, though fast for us turns out to be like 40 hertz. I mean, that's cooking.
I'm walking away.
Because a lot of times, I mean, granted, we're interested in earthquakes generally, and we try to filter out ambient noise, but there are a lot of folks, and some of what I do actually, I filter out the earthquakes and look at the ambient noise sometimes as my signal. So we want to sample pretty much all the time, though when we're only going at 40 or 100 hertz, it's not that bad. In the lab, when we're doing things at 50 megahertz constantly, it can get a little ugly for hours-long experiments.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference between RF and earthquakes.
Right.
Well, actually, that brings up a good point, because I've been recently playing with SDR stuff a little bit more. And John, I told you about this design a couple of weeks ago, but Charles, I don't think we've gotten to discuss this yet. And Sean, I know you don't know about this one yet. I'm working with a lab mate of mine in the soil and water lab up here on the problem of detecting phosphorus in water. And the biggest problem is that phosphorus signals are, well, basically there's almost nothing that will actually get you a signal like spectroscopically for phosphorus, except for if you're doing nuclear magnetic resonance.
Oh, fantastic.
And so I actually have figured out a way to do a pocket-sized or palm-sized NMR cell that I've now got implemented for less than $100 with a software-defined radio, a down converter, and 2 magnets that I bought off of KJ Magnetics. They're like 2.5 inches in diameter. And it turns out that when you put these together about 1 millimeter apart, put a couple of brackets on them as your yoke, and then put a single wire antenna in there and a loop through that's running like a 1 hertz but very narrow pulse, you can actually get some really nice ring down signals back. And the Larmor frequencies happen to be exactly in the range that the up converter will give you into the software-defined radio, which, by the way, is $15 on Amazon because it's a TV tuner card.
Yeah, you got you gonna be RTL SDR?
Yes, that's exactly what I've been playing with.
Yeah, I got a hack RF a little while back because I mean, admittedly I'm a biologist, but I like just tuning with some of these signals as they come along. It's crazy. SDR stuff is really, really cool.
Well, the idea of combining it with NMR spectroscopy, though, is the thing that I think is really, really cool, because I don't think anybody's done this before at this point. Not only that, but doing it with permanent magnets is even cooler, because I know that nobody's done that for a fact, because, well, that would have been in the literature.
Well,
so,
write it up.
We'll see where it goes. It's a fun project, and I'm hoping to get some other folks to try and build it and replicate it. So, John, I'm looking at you. It's kind of like the FM radar project all over again, right?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. It's unfortunately, I've been pretty swamped right now. We're doing a bunch of really very precise, highly calibrated instrumentation for our pressure vessels right now here. So that is taking about 100% of my time, and then trying to do dissertation things on top of that.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, so we've been doing a bunch of strain gauge load cells for pretty much 0 to 40 megapascals.
Not small.
Yeah, and they have to fit inside a rubber jacket that's going to be in an oil confining high pressure scenario, and yeah, it's a mess. But I think we've about got something working, and I finally got it all calibrated out.
Congratulations! That
no small feat.
That deserves its own bottle of champagne right there.
Yeah, well, the fun part was I ended up writing a modeling tool which took, I don't know, probably a couple days, that goes through and does solves full 3D Hookean equations on the hollow load cell, and then models the 8 strain gauges response, and then predicts what the calibration is going to be, because we have to. The calibration changes based on the confining pressure in the cell, so we have to be able to predict that and then compare it to a couple of tests in the lab to make sure we know how to correct the data when it comes out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
Sounds like. Although somewhere in the midst of all of that, it looks as though you got a chance to both be in and also edit a music video, I believe.
Yeah, for our department Into the Year Party, Entropy, we did a parody of All About That Bass, but it's all about that Quake, so it's a lot of fun.
You're going to have to send us the link to that one.
Yeah, here, let me pull it up. You can see all of the crazy stuff that we work with in the lab, and let's see.
Giant squeezers of doom and rocks.
Yeah, no, so we've got, I know Sean and Charles haven't seen, but we have a 1 meganewton hydraulic press, 2-axis hydraulic press here in the lab. And so I basically crush and destroy rock and replicate earthquakes in the lab and study them, the acoustics and the actual frictional mechanics that go into that, and then model it.
Nice.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, here's the link. But we also look at some real earthquakes too. We just recorded our podcast for this week this morning. That's going to be all about the Nepal earthquake.
Yes.
All about that
Speaking
quake.
of all
Oh, God.
Yeah, you guys.
I think you made Sean's day.
Well, hold on. The one, last year was better. It was based on royals.
Really?
You do this every year?
Yeah, every year.
Wow.
That's
terrific.
Where is the royals one?
Oh, is this the press? Let's see. Oh, YouTube is being really slow. There it is. Yeah.
Okay, there's the other one. There's doctors.
Well, it's okay. Your bit stream from your camera is currently being encoded for YouTube, so it's an interesting little traffic jam we're experiencing here. Well, now I've got some afternoon watching after we're done with this.
Yeah. But the other thing, I had alluded to this on Twitter. Last night I made a batch of the little breakouts. So they are working if anybody wants BME 280s.
And that is why I invented the hashtag graphs on Twitter.
So I don't know, I think I've got like 6 or 8 of these that work right now, but because it was cheaper to order in quantity for the BME 280, the price break at 10 was pretty nice. So it looks like a decent little sensor.
So unlike all of the other times that I was supposedly coming down to Penn State, I definitely am coming down a week from Sunday. So I know that I am because I have hydrophones piling up that I need to bring down for calibration at ARL. So I will probably meet up with you in person to exchange cash for circuits.
So, Sean, have you guys looked at these little sensors?
Which one?
The BME 280s. They're temperature, pressure, relative humidity from Bosch.
BME 280, no. We usually don't. Bosch is usually way more high-end than we go with.
Yeah, I think the sensor itself was, in quantity of 10, it was still like $8 or something. It was pretty...
That's not too bad, actually.
Bomb cost.
Yeah, especially if you guys are buying a reel of 1,000 of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Though they'll probably be the most expensive single reel in the warehouse.
Let me see. Let me pull it up on Mouser and see what it was. But anyway, yeah, they're pretty happy. I'm going to use it. I've been doing some gravimetry stuff, and so I'm going to use it to do pressure temperature corrections on gravimetry.
And
is that humidity, pressure, and temperature? So it does all three?
All in one.
Yeah,
that's
Sean,
nice.
I talked to Pierce about this one. He was afraid that these things were vaporware. Bosch has been talking about releasing these for, I think, what was it, John, like 3 years now? They've been talking about them, and they finally came out.
Oh, so Duke Nukem Forever.
Pretty much, yeah. Either that or Half-Life 3.
They say they have. Mauser says there's 4,000 in stock, and they're cheap. In quantity, they're like $3-4.
Yeah,
Well,
I was just pulling up. It's $3.97 in quantity.
I wonder if John's breakout layout might possibly be of use to SparkFun.
It might just change color.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I did do them in KiCad instead of Eagle.
Yeah, that's not too bad, though.
You're in KiCad, not Eagle? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I laid them out in KiCad instead of Eagle, and I think, don't you guys use Eagle out there, Sean?
We do. I've used both, and I like KiCad better personally, just because it's full open source and it's free for all the things you can do. So for personal projects, well, I've been starting to use more Eagle for personal projects just because I have access to full Eagle in all of our libraries. But yeah, we still use Eagle.
Yeah. I mean, I've got an Altium seat here, but I've almost quit using it because I'm afraid that when I leave and don't have my Altium seat, I'm not going to be able to do anything with what I've been working on.
Yeah, Altium's great. I heard rumors that they're looking at making a competitor to like Eagle and KiCad, like a free hobbyist version of Altium, and that would be fantastic.
Isn't
They
that
have its
Sketch or something like that?
Yeah,
Circuit Maker or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of your stuff lives in their cloud, from what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Right, it's supposed to be like Upverter or one of those.
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet. I'd do it if I can get a trial of it. But
Well, I think they're working on it with, I think it's Newark. And so you can, they're saying within the next 3 weeks they're going to launch or something like that.
Oh wow, so that's soon.
Yeah, I've got an invitation myself. That's it. Yeah, Circuit Maker Studio or something like that.
Streamlined PC design.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's a community-driven. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but
I think it's their version of open source, or as open source as Altium gets.
Yeah.
Open your source, and then we'll take it from you, and then make money off of it.
Right.
Exactly. That's community sourced, so to speak.
It looks very Altium. Like it looks like they've kept a lot of the design from Altium. They're porting the 3D capabilities. That's awesome.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite features of Altium. Is you can just like push a button and boom, 3D model.
What is it called?
Yeah.
Circuit Designer?
Circuit Maker. CircuitMaker.com.
Okay.
I mean, there's like screenshots and such on the side that it looks like a file. Circuit Maker. No, it looks like its own program. It looks like a freaking IDE. Like it almost looks like Eclipse, but for making circuits.
Oh God.
Like, because they literally have the projects bar on the left side. The other thing is, I wonder if it's Windows only.
Beast.
I hope not. This is the only reason I haven't to Altium.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's really the main reason I stick with Windows is because like all my hardware tools still pretty much live in Windows. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I run exclusively Mac, but I have to run VMs at work, or at home I'd have just a little Windows box that is for this kind of stuff because it's so ridiculous.
I run a VM to run SolidWorks. That's it. And it's like
I love SolidWorks so much, and it's still Windows only.
Yeah.
And this is why I've got an Intel Nuke at home running 8.1.
Yeah, Nick just picked up a Nuke. It's a sweet little box.
Yeah, they are. They really are, especially because of the fact that the blade thing is air cooled. And
yeah,
can still handle SolidWorks.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Huh. Look at those. Yeah, I may have to look at those because my Windows box at home is dying. It's a very old build, so those nukes look pretty neat.
Bought recently a it was this small nuke with it was like $350 with 120 gig SSD, a Wi-Fi card which sucks,
That's the only problem. Is that those Wi-Fi cards suck so much.
But that's
and
the
it's
other
really
thing. The
small.
Nuke at
It's
least
small
has the
and
internal antenna.
like not a joke like this big.
Wow.
And it's like and maybe this thick, and it has no moving parts. It's fabulous. And it has two little screws at the back, so you can just mount it onto a base mount. And
Also,
so
like the back of your monitor kind of thing.
yeah, but it's like extremely small and has two USB 3s, audio output, Ethernet.
Hold on, I'll go get it. I'll go get it. I'm sitting on Nick's desk.
Yeah, I gotta find the one I bought. I'll link it to you guys.
Nick wants to use this for a like a Maker Faire project. So I forget why he wanted. He either needs like Windows or Linux for it. Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like the old
Yeah,
Mac Mini, just a little smaller but and taller.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Only
the
like a quarter of the size.
The one I'm thinking of is half of that thickness.
Mm-hmm.
What? They get even smaller?
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me find it.
Yeah, they do.
I bought like 8 when I bought them. I bought one and then I bought like 7. I was just like, fuck this. I'm gonna put this in the lab everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have to mount one of those on the 3D printer. Just forget carrying laptops over there and stuff. It'd be nice to have a little.
It's funny that you should say that because the other thing that got me about the Nuke when I first got it was the Intel chime built into the box. That was just plain weird.
They started putting that. Okay. The first time I've seen that is they put those in the Galileo boxes. You'd open it, it goes doo doo doo. Casey took that and started hiding it in people's drawers as a prank. So they would open their drawers and they would play it.
That is awesome.
We did that around here too. I did that as soon as I got it.
Epoxy.
Great minds and all that, right?
Right.
It's the Gigabyte Bricks i5. Okay, so listen to. I'll send you the link. It's okay. So it's $330 prime. Plus, you need to buy the hard drive and the RAM, but you can go up to. Okay, so hang on, where are you? Let me send you this link.
Is it a drive or is it MSATA?
So this, as you
because mine's got that MSATA flash in it.
This doesn't have the any memory. Or
I meant what I needed to put in it. The solid-state drive is an MSATA flash drive.
I don't remember which size.
Yes.
But it's small.
So this is cool and tiny.
It's sorry.
I like
it's 4 USB 3 super speed. I totally forgot.
That's handy.
Very nice.
John,
I think that can do a little bit more than just be a 3D printer print server.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing I will warn you against, though, is I don't know how, but the Wi-Fi card in there that just don't use. It's a pain in the ass. It's horrible. It's really terrible.
Get a USB one.
Yeah, get a big fat USB one.
But can't you just if it's got a card inside of it, can't you just hijack the antenna connector and put an external antenna on it?
You probably could.
Okay.
I just don't. I mean, it might not, depending on what you want to do, but you might be worth just buying a nice fat $30 one of those Chinese, the ones that allow injection.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've got a couple of those.
Actually, it's funny because that's the thing that I actually like about the Intel nukes is that they have the internal antennas built in, and they're actually well-engineered antennas. So
that might be it.
I'm getting full speed on wireless N back to my router. Or wait, is that N or no? I can't remember if it's N or AC, but my router's N because I've just got a cable modem on it. So why bother, right? So yeah, that's cool though.
That is awesome. I kind of want one of these as a HTP or one of the TV PCs.
Actually, you know, Sean, what you should get one and do with it? High altitude balloon launch, man.
We'll give it to Dave
handle the
Stillman, who
weight.
launches those damn things.
There you go.
The world's high-flying
That would
computer.
actually be a really good idea. You could log at faster rates on that thing than you could with the Edison or with the Pi or even the BeagleBone. And you could also have multiple cameras on a USB 3 hub. You could store all of it directly to a hard drive there. The only thing is that it's going to be a bit power hungry.
Yeah, it is going to be a little power hungry.
But that being said, I mean, it depends on the size of balloon that you want to use. If you want to use a full-size weather balloon, those things are load rated for like over 50 pounds. So
right.
Especially
FAA
with,
says you can't do that, though.
That's true, although it depends on where you're doing it and what you're doing it with. Besides, if you're over international waters, now things like that don't matter as much anymore. And what really constitutes high altitude anyway? Now, that's a good point. By the way, while I've gotten to talk with Charles about some of the stuff that he's doing instrumentation-wise, and he's interested in doing, I think it might be a good idea, before we get too far in with the nuke stuff, to have him tell you, Sean and John, what exactly is, where his head is at insofar as instrumentation goes nowadays.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see how good I can get. Well, yeah, thanks. Anyway, it's nice to meet you guys, I guess, formally after like half an hour of chatting.
Sorry.
No,
My fault.
it's totally
Moderator.
fine. No, it's totally fine. I'm trying to find you guys. Yeah, so let's see. Where is my head at in terms of instrumentation? I have never done instrumentation. I suck at it. I'm a biologist by training.
Oh, come on.
I'm a biologist by training, which means that instrumentation is not our forte. Our forte is basically cooking and passing it off as science. What I primarily do though is I'm a bioengineer. So right now I just started a company here. Oh, shameless plug. Which is trying to be.
It is a shameless plug.
Oh, total shameless plug. But no, but we're trying to be kind of a Red Hat style, Arduino style for bio equipment. The big problem is that bio right now is just really everything's written on notepads and timers, and it's just you use timers and notepads, and it just sucks, right? The technology out there is so much better. You guys are an example of it. I mean, you're building all sorts of stuff. SparkFun is a great example. Adafruit, all these different companies are great examples of what you can do with even very simple hardware and software. But biology is really devoid of that, and so we're trying to bring all of that stuff to biology and see what kind of reproducibility increases we can bring, what kind of even just contextual information we can gather from an experiment. So that's in a nutshell. Actually, Pete reached out to me after a little Hackaday article that we had around that idea of doing
an interview at South by Southwest.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yep. So that's where we are. What's amazing is that I thought we would have a hard time selling that vision, and I'm now quite the opposite, trying to wrangle how to get this. I'm not American, so get the visa status squared away so that I can sign all these contracts to really make open hardware for open science, for open biology.
Nice. Yeah, that's an interesting business proposition. What's the word I'm looking for? Way to make money through that business structure.
So we have actually a really kind of weird business structure that we hold very close to heart. We are effectively edifying a B Corp at the center, and then isolated from that with licensing agreements. We have for-profit companies that will make some of the hardware and the service, and so that biologists we can scale with the demand, because the demand is huge right now.
Right.
But without destroying the core And the licensing, we're hoping to make it completely free for individuals and academics, and then just have licensing agreements for larger companies, but largely through these for-profit arms, because anyway they are interested in, like, hey, can you come and install whatever 300 labs or whatever, right? So that's where the Red Hat approach comes from. And largely that's what we do. We're looking at money from DARPA, large bioequipment manufacturers, pharma, basically across the board, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, in a nutshell.
And in my first conversation with Charles, we were talking about how exactly to get biologists to admit that irreproducibility is a bad thing. I mean,
right.
what did you tell me about that one guy who was saying, I just became a better biologist, and that was how things got better?
Yeah, so this is a friend of mine who's now a professor somewhere out west, and
careful, this is being recorded for YouTube.
Right, somewhere out west, and so he was saying, like, hey, I used to think that we need to get data from the lab and understand every little piece and instrument, every little piece, so that we know where the reproducibility problems are, etc. And then he said, but eventually I just got good at it. And I was just like, but how can you tell? You've not been recording any data. And this is a friend of mine, but it's basically what it means is that by necessity you have to abstract away from it, because the reality is right now in academia and biology, even though there are studies that suggest between 75 and 89% of peer-reviewed research in bio is not reproducible, between 75 and 89% suggested, depending on the field, so I'll get flack for that, but these are Nature papers.
Right. You can cite your sources on this one.
Yeah, right. I'll cite my sources. The Nature 2013 Irreproducibility Issues, 15 papers or so. And that's the problem, is when it's that high, it's not really malicious. It's just by necessity. It just means that the tools suck that much. And so we're trying to make the tools suck less. Largely speaking, is what we're trying to do. So little temperature sensors that are designed just the right way, so that they fit inside of the right tubes. They're designed to be charged in a certain way, last a certain amount of time, be a mesh network so that the user can just plug them in and then just forget about them, because biologists don't care. It's even less than physicists or instrumentation people, because they don't have the skills to fix or make these things. What they care about is whether the cells work, or whether there's green stuff in this little solution or whatnot. So what you want to do is really give them this contextual information, and a little bit of simple hardware goes a long way.
So true.
Anyway, so
this is why I think the Bosch chip might actually be of really great use to you, because now you've got 3 environmental parameters in one chip.
Yep. We looked at so that actually it's really interesting, because I'm probably gonna make a little different version. Is it I2C? I forget now.
You can make it I2C or SPI. These are configured for I2C.
Great.
And then there's a jumper for changing the address, in case you happen to have something else that has the same address on your bus already.
No, so that's the beauty, is that most of these are like one little sensor, one little one little platform, one little node, and so it doesn't really need to have any other address or anything. But
yeah, and looking at this one, when I was playing with it the other night, logging some data, the relative humidity was a little bit squirrely. But in the data sheet, they recommend that you rehydrate them in a high humidity environment after you do reflow. So I've got a bunch of them up in a bag in the lab hydrating now, and we'll see how much better they do. But I've got like some HTU 21Ds and some stuff like that to compare them with.
Mm-hmm.
We can see what does better. Because, you can take the HTU 21D and like a BMP 180 and get a pretty nice station for not that much more cost. But who knows?
The big question is, John, are you going to drive out to the airport so that you can get NIST-compatible data or NIST-traceable data from the NWS weather station out there?
There's a weather station on the building across from me is the meteorology building, and I know one of the guys that's now a professor over there, and I graduated together a long time ago. So, and just go stick it up by theirs.
That's awesome.
Sounds good.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're looking for all these different little chips. We're looking at small from it's the SHTC1, which is also pretty good. Very small package for humidity, but they're extremely expensive. Like they're over $10 a pop.
Yeah, it looks pretty similar to the 21D. Wow, that is expensive though.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what
have you guys
form
been
factor are
following
you actually
Spark
designing?
stuff at all?
Oh,
Sorry.
Have you guys been following the Spark stuff at all? I just posted a link. Check out their Electron. They're doing low data rate cell phone development kits that work on their IDE.
I got.
Oh yes, these guys.
Yeah, I figured you guys probably have seen that.
Yeah, I got a couple of those. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm curious. I mean, these more for like hobby projects for me than anything. But because again, for me, one of the major issues is the size. Like I'm unfortunately I'm working with things like little test tubes, and like test tubes are like they're like this big, right?
You're right.
That was the form factor question that I had. Are we talking about like a standard like spectroscopic vial, or are we talking about like the
no, the Eppendorf tube,
the actual
1.5
like 10 milliliter size?
No,
Oh, okay.
1.5 mil, like much smaller, like
wow.
10 milliliters. I could make an entire
Centrifusion
platform.
lower. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Wow. Okay, that's
yeah. So what I ended up having to do is that I put the little sensor.
I should get you in touch with.
Oh, go ahead.
I should try and get you in touch with Rich Gabrielson and Steve Powell, who are over here at Cornell. They're doing work with instruments with RF capability that are that small or smaller. They're right now making a lab on a bird test to do urea concentration, temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure, and then send that all back via RF. And they're building it to be put on the back of, I think it's fairy wrens, which means that the actual size can be no more than, I think it's like 12 by 15 millimeters absolute maximum, but that's as a flat surface. If you fold it over, because they're also doing these on Captone Flex PCB, you could probably actually fit them into what you're dealing with. And the total weight, including the battery, has to be 0.75 grams or less, given the bird that they're working with. We also have people developing tags for hummingbirds. So,
wow.
I'm thinking that some of the sensors that they're using now are the bleeding edge of bird tag technology, especially in so far as form factor.
That would be tremendously interesting to just talk to about these platforms. How does the RF work?
In their case, it's not mesh sequence transmitter, and it's essentially like a multi-bit RFID where the transmitter is very powerful. It pulls that particular, it pulls out a particular random sequence of numbers, and then if that random sequence matches with what that particular node realizes that its name is, then that node wakes up and sends a burst of data back. Then the transmitter sends an ACK, chip shuts down or goes back to low power mode without transmitting. Then it sends out another sequence. The next bird tag repeats its data back and forth, back and forth.
I see. Okay, so it's kind of like a star topology network.
Exactly, yeah, where the TXRX is at the center, and then each one, the nodes on.
So you know what I've been wanting to do?
The outer part of the star.
But I have no capability. I mean, like, I'm personally incapable of doing that, but a good RF person could. I don't know if you guys followed the NSA Cottonmouth exploit. The one, so that was they intercept USB cables and drives and whatnot in the Amazon factories, and then they replace the little USB portion. I'm looking to see if I have any USBs here. Yeah, so like they replace this portion of a USB, right, with a little reflective RF thing. So what they do is they shine an RF signal, and then it's phase modulated in return with all the data, but it's apparently high data rate enough that they do this on USB that capture the screen state, and they can apparently just see what's on your screen. Especially for like USB-based extensions, USB 3 extensions for monitors and stuff like that. And so they basically they're just able to get from a very large distance at a very narrow band information out, which is fucking awesome and also very low power.
Wikipedia has an entire article on that. Thank you, Wiki.
Nice. What was it, like Greg Charvat or somebody I heard talking about this on Ampower a while back, I think.
Sean, so this wasn't one of the projects that you're not allowed to talk about that you were involved in then? Good.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I'm sorry, which government agency did you not work for again?
All of them.
Except for the one that you did, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cottonmouth. Oh, here's the brief on it. Oh wow, I love how this is posted all over Wikimedia. Nice. Oh, this is now open source, even though it's marked with top secret comment released to USA, Five Eyes. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. They only redacted POCs?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh, wait a minute. Ego, though. That's interesting. I also like the fact that it's only a USB 1.1 full speed hub.
Well, that was 2000.
Cottonmouth 1.
Oh, okay.
There's like
Now
2
I
and
see
3 that's listed.
Good grief.
Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of cool little stuff. So you know, the model would be very different if we could do something like this. Then what I would do is I would go, set up like antennas in the major cities where I have clients, and then just go like, hey, don't worry about it where it is. We'll get the data out for you. Don't just leave it hanging around. We'll get the information out. But
it's funny that you should mention that, because earlier today I had seen something. Speaking of microwave signals, this is too good of a segue to pass up. I need to send this to you guys. Which shows how microwave signals can be both a good thing and a bad thing. And in particular, apparently, if you have a microwave oven and you happen to have a radio telescope or some other microwave measurement device, somehow those two can sometimes interact. In this case, though, it was that the astronomers thought that they discovered a new fast signal star that was rotating aperiodically, but it turned out to be a microwave.
And it turned out to be potato. Hi.
Yeah, they said something about, I think it was, if you opened the door before the microwave stopped, like you didn't press stop, if you just let the interlock trigger, there was a brief burst that they got.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my
that
God.
was just... You were just making me think of that when you pointed out Cottonmouth. It's like, this kind of reminds me of... Well, you know what they say, one person's noise is another person's signal. Or baked potato.
Right.
Or popcorn, hey!
Actually, this is funny. Somewhat related to this, this paper fell on my lap. I'll share that with you guys. On how DNA is a fractal antenna to electromagnetic fields. So it's really kind of interesting. Could point in the direction. I mean, that's what they point out in the conclusion. They could point into some insight into the etiology of certain cancers. Anyway, I don't really know how I feel other than this is really neat about the specifics of the paper, but
I've been saying this for years. The Blay thing's two interlaced inductors. How could it not be resonant at ELF? Well, if you think about it, I mean, the phosphate backbone and the hydrogen bonds, you have two different conductive paths there, so electrons are going to travel on those. And traveling it generates a changing magnetic, and there's various different resistances along the way, so you're actually getting a modulated signal. It does not surprise me, let me put it that way.
right.
I think Sean and I are lost in
I got
my
nothing.
biology background.
Sorry.
All right. We'll take a step back from that then, I guess.
I'm gonna have to run.
Either way,
in a couple
I'll
minutes,
need to,
unfortunately, at 4 o'clock. But really enjoyed this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great to meet you, Charles.
Yeah. And let me know how things go. I'd love to try and join the next one. And let me know how I can get some of those breakout boards. I'll probably get a couple from you, if that's okay, John.
All right, yeah, I'll shoot you a message on Twitter and we'll get it set up.
Before you head out, real quick, I just posted Wit. I found Wit's getting started with Raspberry Pi, and I know what I'm doing in a couple of weeks here.
Oh wow, this is new, I think.
It looks like they have the link doesn't work, but it seems like they do have a precompiled configuration to get their daemon running on the Pi itself, and they have it precompiled for you.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think you guys just cost me like Saturday.
Right, I know what I'm doing this weekend. And I was looking at. It seems like they only have it precompiled for ARM. I would love to see it get it precompiled for like a x86, so I could like run it on an Edison or something smaller.
I was just gonna say, like an Edison, really?
Yeah, which is what I want to run it on because I love the form factor of that thing.
Yeah.
But alas, that will be a weekend project sometime in the near future.
Hey,
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So, Sean, you know that geophone that you guys sell in the store? I think it's like $60 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't have really great low frequency response because it's a small geophone, obviously.
Right.
Not a $20,000 Grelp that has great response at a 100-second period. But I've got one downstairs on a seismically isolated pier from the building that is next to a $20,000 Grelp. And we actually got, I haven't looked for the Nepal earthquake in it yet. I have to go down and grab the data. But a little earthquake a few weeks ago, we got a double reflected core phase on it, just barely.
Nice.
It was pretty cool, all the way across the world, through the core twice.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, I gotta. Greg, you ready? One sec.
Ready for your close-up?
Yeah,
as long as
close up, right?
You're already getting your close-up.
Yeah.
I know that's. Yeah, I gotta head out. We're doing pictures with the video crew.
Nice. All
Well,
right.
it's great to meet you, Sean and Charles.
Yeah, it was good to meet all of you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
See you next
Try
time.
and do this again in a few weeks. Maybe when John and I actually see each other in person.
There you go. All right.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
Pete, I'll give you a call on Skype after this.
Cool.
You too, guys. Have a good
See you
one.
later.
Later.
Bye.